Hello everyone. So in this video, I'll show you how to write plugin to qualify your leads into opportunity. So in the out of the box, when you qualify any lead, then account, contact, and opportunity will be created in the dynamics. So in the real-time project, your leads will be coming from different sources like Power Apps, portals, or any integrated sites. And from there, you will be generating leads into your dynamics. And then those leads has to be converted into opportunity. To convert that, we have to qualify that. So when you qualify, then the record of account, contact, and opportunity will be created. So I will be showing the plugin how to write and how to qualify that automatically as soon as it is created into the dynamics. Okay, so let's proceed with the logic first. So here, this is my solution which we have developed in the last plugin videos. Okay, I have created one folder here, plugin base, and inside the plugin base I will be writing my all basic functions which can be used in my drive class. So let me add the new file here and name this plugin base. Okay, and inside that I will be implementing my iPlugin interface. So before that I have to use my some namespace. So using, so I have included my required namespace here. Then I will be implementing my iPlugin interface. When you implement this, you will have the execute method. Okay, and since this will be my base class of my all plugins, so I don't have to register my plugin on this base class. So means I don't have to instantiate this class here. So the instantiated class will be which are derived from this base class, right? Those will be my actual plugins. That is why I can name this plugin as a abstract class. So I'll put this public abstract. Okay, and our logic will be our logic will be here in the execute method. So but before that, we have to instantiate our uh, basic objects which will be coming from the plugin. So for that I will be using the one separate uh, I will be using one separate class inside my base class. So I'll name this protected class, and that is local plugin execution. Okay, inside that I will have these some properties. I'll name that like properties like I organization service. So this is interface, that is why. So it is internal. Then I will have the I service provider. These are the properties I will create for my local plugin executions, and these properties are common which we will use for our plugin. So I organization service factory. I organization service. Then we have I plugin execution context. I'll name this plugin context. And in the last we will have the tracing service. So I tracing service. Okay, so these are the some 5 common properties which we will set. So to set this value we will use the constructor of this class. So I will create the constructor. So public local plugin execution, and inside the constructor I will pass the I service provider, because inside the service provider these are the components like testing service, factory, organization service will be initialized with that from that. So I'll take this parameter here, service provider, and we'll check if the service provider is equals to null, then we will throw the exception, invalid plugin execution exception, that is invalid service provider. Okay, if the service provider is coming correctly, then we will instantiate, we'll set the values of these properties. So here this dot, first of all we will set the plugin execution plugin context, that will be equals to service provider dot get service type I plugin execution context, and we have to cast here. Okay, so likewise I'll do for other properties. I will create this service here. So that is called organization service, that will be from this dot service factory dot create organization service, and this will be under the context, this dot plugin context dot user ID. So we got the service also, and the last we'll have the tracing service. Okay, so all those properties has been initialized using this constructor. Okay, if you want some method to like to trace the messages and all, if you want you can put that method inside this plugin execution context. So let me write one simple a small method, it will take not much time. So I will write that public void trace messages, trace message, and that will be a string message. I will check if the message string dot is null or white space. If we don't have any message, if it is blank, then we will return from this method. Okay, and also we'll check if the this dot plugin context, if it is equals to null, then we will throw the exception, or we can this dot tracing service, we can trace some message tracing service that invalid plugin execution context. Okay, so we will write some message like this. If it is object is fine, then we will write our actual message. So for that we'll write this dot tracing service dot trace, and we'll write the string dot format culture info invariant culture, and here we'll have the string here. So we'll name that we uh, we'll write some message here. So that will be simply we can write the message like this message here. So whatever the messages are coming, we can write into this function here. So as using the test message, we can directly trace this message. So this is very simple. You use this message name message function here to write in your drive plugin class. So very simple one. You can use that function from this local plugin execution here. So this is developed our main concern is with the execute method. This is the our entry point of the plugin. Our logic will go here. So first of all we will create the instance of this. When you create the instance of this, we'll have these properties initialized, and we have the service provider coming from the execute method, right? So let's initialize that first. So we'll check this first before initialize, that service provider is correctly coming. Service provider, if it is equals to null, then we will throw the exception service provider is not initialized correctly. Okay, so once it is coming correctly, then we will initialize the local plugin execution. I'll name the variable local plugin execution. That will be equals to the new plugin execution, and here it is expecting the service provider, so we'll pass the service provider here. So once it is initialized, then I can write my logic for the plugin. So, but I will be writing those logging logic in the different method, and that method will be using in my drive plugin. So, what I'll do, I'll create one virtual method here. Okay, I'll name this public protected. I'll name this. I'll make the access level as protected, and that will be virtual type, and no message, no return from this, and the name I will be plug execute plugin logic. Okay, and here the input of this method will be the object what we have initialized here. So this will be the input, the parameter for this function. So I'll pass this parameter here. Okay, and here inside that function we will be overriding this method into our derived class that is in the actual plugin class. So our logic plugin logic will be written in derived plugin class. Okay, by overriding this method. Okay, so we will call this method here. So let me use the try block. If any exceptions, so ex, and throw the exception here. So throw new invalid plugin execution exception, and ex dot message, and inside that we will call this method here. So in the try block I will call this local plugin execution. So now we have correctly developed our plugin base class, and this is ready to be used inside the plugin folder. So what I'll do, inside my plugin folder I will be writing my one plugin here. So plugin, since I will writing plugin to qualify automatically, so first of all the plugin has to be created and then it has to be qualified. So the create of the plugin will happen by the stage number 30, that is core operation, and to qualify the plugin to qualify the lead automatically in the next stage, that is stage number 40, that is on post operation, I will be writing the logic. So I'll name this plugin qualify and that is for post operation. Okay, and we will be, this will be our actual plugin, not the plugin base. So our this plugin will be inheriting from the plugin base. So I'll use the plugin base here, and it's not coming because this is present in the different folders. So I will use the namespace plugin base, and now we'll have this plugin base class here. So this will be our public class, and this is our plugin. So you can see this is inherited here, and now our here we have the override virtual method here where our logic will go here, and since this function is being called from the execute method, and then this plugin logic will be overriding. So our logic of all the plugin will go inside this function, which will be overriding inside the our actual plugin class here. Okay, so for that what I'm going to do, I will use the protected namespace, and then we have the override. So as soon as you give the override, whatever the in the base class, if you have some virtual methods which can be override, it will display here. So you will override that method here. So this is my method, actual plugin a logic method. I will be overriding, and our logic will go here inside this block. So plugin logic, here it will go. So here, since inside these base inside this function, we have passed the logic here, a plugin local plugin execution. So it's coming here. You can see here, it's coming here. So our all object, what when it is initialized, it will be coming here, and what it has is those services what we have instantiated here, right? What we have set here, these properties. So like service provider, service factory, or as a service, as plugin execution context, those will be coming from this local. So inside this block, first of all, I have to take those parameters. So what I'm going to do, I'll initialize plugin basic components. Okay, so first of all, I plugin execution context. So it's not coming because I have to use this mandatory namespace. So using Microsoft.xm.stk. So I have included some namespace here. Now I will first of all initialize the plugin execution context. Plugin execution context. I'll name the variable context that is equals to, and that will be coming from the this one. So let's check this first whether it is correctly initialized or not before we use that. So if the plugin execution context, sorry, this is local. If it is equals to null, if it is not coming correctly, then we will throw the exception, invalid plugin execution exception, and that will be local plugin execution is not initialized correctly. Okay, if it is coming correctly, then I can use that to set the my variables. So that will be plugin context. Likewise, I will have the I organization service. I'll name that CRM service. That will be local context dot organization service. Then I have the tracing service. So tracing, that will be local plugin dot tracing service. So I got my mandatory component from the my local plugin execution, and our logic will go here from here. So first of all, I will check the inside the context. I will have the input parameter, since I'll register my plugin for the lead entity, and that will be for the create message, and then on the post operation my lead will be qualified. So for that I will be checking if the context in the target is there or not. So check target is present or not. Okay, so if context dot input parameters, it will be present into the input parameters, and the properties target as entity. So first of all, it has to be create here. So let's check the context dot input parameters dot contains the target attribute first. So it should have the target attribute there present, and then it should be of type entity. If it is of type entity, then we can check this. So context input parameter contains target, and context input parameter target is entity. Then we will check the other components. So first of all, we'll check whether our plugin is registered for the create message or not. So context dot the message name dot to lowercase, I'll convert to lowercase. If it is not equals to create, our plugin is not registered on the create, and if it is not on the post operation, so it means in the stage not equals to 40, then we will return from this plugin. Okay, if it is correctly registered and it has the correct target, then first of all we'll get the target entity. So that will be nothing but the lead which is created immediately, right? So I'll take that. So entity that will be target lead, that will equals to context dot input parameters, and I will have the from the target attribute, I'll get that target as entity. the created lead will be present into this variable. So now I will qualify that lead. So for that I will have to use the qualify lead request, name the variable qualify lead, that equals to the new qualify lead request, and this request we have to execute using the CRM service. So before that we have to initialize some components. So first of all, which lead we will qualify. So we have the lead ID, that will be equals to the, we have the lead target which is created, right? So we have the target, so that will be the type of entity reference. So lead ID will be here type of entity reference, so this will be new entity reference, and to create that we have to use the logical name and the ID. So we have the target ID dot logical name and the target ID dot ID. Okay, and then we have to set the status. The status indicate like when any, you can see when any lead is created. So let me open this. So when any lead is created, so this is the status. So for the, like for open we'll have the status 1, for the new status 2, for qualifier status 3, like that. For each status we'll have the numbers there. So we have the status, and that will be new option set value, and that will be 3 for the qualify. So it is 2 for, this is for qualify status. And now we have the other three components. As I mentioned before, when any lead is created, then it will create the account, contact, and the opportunity. So we have that control also. So you can see we have create account, I'll set that's true. Okay, then we have create lead contact, then I'll set this true, and then we have create opportunity, set that's true. Okay, once our request is created, we have to execute that. So I will when it is executed, then it will be present in the response. So we have the qualify lead response, that is lead response. I'll name the variable lead response, that will be CRM service dot execute, and then we have the qualify lead request what we have created, and this one. So it's coming because we have to cast the response into this type. Okay, so finally when lead is created, so whatever the operation has performed by this execute method on this lead request, then it will be present in the lead response. So we have some components which you can use, like if you want to use like lead response as for like inside the entity created entities, you can see this is the list of entity reference collection, which means whatever the three components, if these three are created, then this will be present inside the created entities. If you want to use the results, you can use that. If you want to response name, you can use that. So few components are there in the response which you can use, but most probably most of the time you will see the people will be using the created entities. Okay, so once it is qualified, then it is done. So I will trace this. So tracing service dot trace, I'll name that lead is qualified. So I'll trace the message like lead is qualified. Okay, like that. So fine, so our lead qualify plugin is ready. So let me register that. So first of all, I'll build my solution. So my solution is built without error. Okay, and then I will going to register this one. So but before that, we have to make sure the plugin what we have created, it should be in the public access mode, should be public, then only it will be available there, and it is inheriting from the plugin base. And when you go to the plugin base, it has the execute method, which is using the constructor of the local plugin execution contact local plugin execution, and inside that it has all the properties. So this is structured correctly. So let's register and see the operation it works. So here this is my plugin registration tool. I have logged in already to my instance here. So this is my assembly which we already registered. So I'm going to update this assembly here. I'll select my assembly and I will register it. you can see one plugin assembly is updated, but one we have registered one plugin, so it's coming here, one plugin registered. Okay, so we'll go to the our plugin here. So we have registered, so this is our plugin qualify post operation. Okay, this is it. So we have to register the step for that. So register the new step, and message will be create. We have given in the plugin code here, this is for the create message. Okay, so create, and then it will be lead, primary entity will be lead, and then secondary entity none, and then it will be post operation, and it will be synchronous. So let's keep this synchronous and post operation. Okay, so done. So we'll register this step. So plugin is registered. So now as soon as I will create the new lead, so it will be qualified automatically. So I'll create the new lead here. The first name I will give as a DNLB test lead test 1. Okay, so with this lead you can see today all these are the list of all the leads created today. So I'll go to results. It's not yet created, so I'll going to create that one. Let me show you that. And here is the company name, which is the when it lead is qualified to the opportunity, then with the company name the account will be created. Okay, so here I'm going to give the company name as DNLB lead 1 company. Okay, so with this name the account will be created, and if you have any other parameters for the lead, you can fill here, and then finally you save this. So now you can see the status is qualified. So what happened, this lead is qualified and is converted to opportunity. So let me show you through this advanced find. Okay, so look for the leads and created on today, and you will see the lead DNLB lead test, it is created and it is qualified. The same record which is here, so it's created and qualified, and it is inactive. Okay, now we'll see the any opportunity is created or count. So I will refresh this. You can see the DNLB lead 1 company is created here. Okay, and then coming to the contact using the DNLB, yeah, you can see the DNLB lead test 1, it is also created. And now coming to the opportunity, this one created on today, you can see the demo 1 lead qualification opportunity is also created. So this is how you can create the plugin, and you can use the lead qualify request to qualify your plugin, to qualify your leads into the opportunity in the program, in the plugin. So I hope now you understood the structure of the plugin base, also how it works, and you can write the plugin for qualify also. So I hope this video was useful to you, and thank you for watching this video, guys.